Welcome to the podcast. This is day 21, podcast 21. This is It's Meaningless. This is the podcast for entrepreneurs who are within the first 5 years of business and are tired of being stuck, who are ready to face the brutal truth, and uh, who are ready to grow and protect in life and in business. Um, So today we get to talk about politics. Not really, not really about politics, but we talk about meaningless things. Um, we talk about meaningless things that, or these things that we do or participate in that are meaningless, that is counterproductive to us producing. Um, which this is a big one. So I'm gonna give you a little example. Uh, and by the way, that's not a plug. Uh, but let me give you a little example. So uh, there's this business. It's kind of like a boutique. I guess when you think of boutique, this is like the picture, kind of a little off the street. I've never been in there, so I don't even know really what they do. But it's kind of some little shop. Um, I don't know. I think they sell clothes or something like women's clothes or anyway. Um, so there's this little shop which I pass by or used to pass by where I used to live pretty much every day. And they, like, they've been there since I was there, and I was there for about, or I lived there for about 3 years. And I don't know, one day they, all of a sudden, they had this sign out front, um, which effectively is like, I hate somebody. They have somebody they hate, apparently. Which is kind of pretty much a well-known political figure. Um, and so the sign stayed out there. The sign has been out there for at least a year, probably a year and a half, maybe pushing 2 years. But probably about a year and a half that sign has been out there. And like the irony, like I really want to go back and take a picture, um, because I'm pretty sure it's still there. But the irony of that whole thing is like they have I don't know how much longer after, but at least probably for the last 6 months, probably longer. They've had a 50% off sign in front of the store. And like, if you can't catch the irony in that, like, that's, yeah. Uh, so that's kind of what we want to talk about a little bit today. Um, like, if you have to put your stuff on sale for 50% off, then maybe it might be a thing of kind of keeping the 50% of your customers that you probably may have offended by I hate blah blah blah. And that's kind of a simple thing, and it's obviously that's kind of a maybe an out there. Um, I wouldn't say extreme example. Unfortunately, these days it's not too extreme, but it is closer to the outlier stage or phase. Um, but even in that, like, there are a lot of areas that we can do the same thing. Effectively, we're talking about polarization, um, where in business, that is, as a business owner, um, in dealing with clients, in some way of interacting with our business or businesses, that we put a stake in the ground that says, um, a stake in the ground that has nothing to do with really serving the people that we said we're supposed to be serving. Um, and that's, I guess, so the purpose is like, this is, here we're looking to grow. And so when we're growing out, give a little bit of a caveat, blah, 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 blah. Because I know like the whole politics things is supercharged and everybody's blah, blah, blah. And I guess kind of that's the whole point of this conversation. But like, this isn't, like, none of this is to like get into specific issues, at least not to solve anything. Um, in terms of political preference or whatever. But like, the goal here is, how do we grow what we're trying to do? How do we succeed in being an entrepreneur? Um, yeah, how do we succeed in being an entrepreneur? Uh, and like, I've seen this happen many times, and it's not always political, but it's easy to take a stand on something that we might believe in, um, um, or feel strongly for. Um, it doesn't have anything to do with like serving the people that are in front of you. Um, it is, in other words, taking a stand on, I don't know, um, penguins in the um, North Pole, then exactly help my clients if my job is selling software to to customers. Like, some of them might feel like, okay, but I mean, maybe 1% of them might, maybe 1% would be like, oh yeah, I'm really on, but yes, we gotta save those penguins. By the way, I don't know of any penguins that need to be saved except for the, um, I don't know, the thing they've been saying for a while, which is to cut up those little 6 pack holders. Although I don't buy any 6 packs, so maybe that's a tip if you didn't know. It's a little tip to help save the environment. But yeah, uh, that's, I guess it's kind of the thing. Like, nobody cares. Like, at the end of the day, like, we really want to put it, as a general statement. People don't care. Um, which, I don't know. At the end of, like, we can go into like, they should care. We want them to care. You want to make them care, and then that kind of brings up another point, actually a big point, which is, effectively, are you in the right business? Um, so like, for this, for example, for this shop that I'm talking about, I don't know who this is. I imagine it's probably, like, from the way that the store is designed, it seems like it's a lady. Um, but whoever whoever runs or owns that shop, uh, I think a valid question would be like, if, first of all, like, is influencing the political arena, is that like your thing? Is that your passion? Is that what you're after? Um, and if the question is yes, then it kind of begs, okay, the question of, okay, what areas or what avenues would it be better for, um, this person to operate in? Just assuming her, to operate in, um, Yeah, what areas, what avenues would be better for her to operate in? Um, as opposed to like trying to run a business and trying to push I don't like or I like onto whoever else. Um, again, no, I want to step back a smidge, just a smidge, but because again, I mean, the I want to say this. I firmly believe in like being who you are. Um, firmly believe in being who you are. So if you have convictions in one area or another area, stand by the convictions you have, and at the same time, and in addition to, like, let's be practical about if my convictions are like what I'm called to do, that is what I'm going to spend the bulk of my energy, effort, resources, time, blah 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 on. If that's what I'm supposed to be spending like my resources on, then like let's find the right avenue to do it in. Um, like maybe the area that I'm in right now isn't where I'm supposed to be. Maybe I don't know. For some of you, maybe you're not called to be an entrepreneur. Maybe I don't know. But I won't. I mean, I won't go too far in that because I'm a little biased. Uh, I think I think a lot of people. I think a lot of people are. I don't think we have enough entrepreneurs. I think a lot of people have ideas like gifts, um, kind of deposits inside of them that like just need to be nurtured and let out. Um, and even from that perspective, like there's you can be being an entrepreneur doesn't always look the same. Like even for example, for this lady again, we're assuming that she's a lady, but anyway, um, I don't know. We should give her a name. Sally. I like it. Sally. Sally's boutique shop. Um, which I don't even know if that's the name or not. But um, anyway, so in Sally's example, um, it could be that like if she's in other words, if she's very passionate about politics, about influencing like the political um, landscape, influencing people's decisions in terms of like voting and that kind of stuff. If that's her passion, if that's what she's after, um, it doesn't mean she can't be an entrepreneur. Um, it just means her entrepreneurship will probably look a little bit different. Um, she could be an entrepreneur in like, for example, I ran into um, a um, had well actually a couple of businesses that effectively um, help people's political campaigns. So she could start a business doing that. She could be a speaker or something like that. Um, but in other words, so there are multiple ways of like, and that's another reason why I'm kind of biased towards entrepreneurship because I believe it's the best avenue for, I guess, I would say preaching your message, like whatever message that is inside of you, whatever message that you were called to bring to like that was deposited into you to bring in and share with the world. I believe that entrepreneurship is the best way to do that. Um, the thing is that we have to get in order to serve people well. Like we have to we have to get it lined up correctly. That is, what is the um, what's the message that I have, and who are the people that um, first off, who are the people who need to receive that message? But probably even more important question, who are the people who are ready to receive that message? Um, and start there. Um, because like this thing of polarization, which I mean, in for example, like in this lady's case, I'll keep coming back to Sally because I think it's a really good picture of what the results can be when um, what the results can be when we do this polarization thing. In other words, when we get our messaging wrong, because effectively, here's what was happening. This is a sign that is in front of this store and has been there, like I said, for about a year and a half. This sign goes out to everybody. In other words, everybody who passes by that store, it doesn't matter like what race, what gender, what socioeconomic status. It doesn't matter what political affiliation, what religious affiliation. It doesn't matter. Everybody sees it. So obviously, like different people, and especially with a statement like that, I hate. Um, Obviously, different people are going to feel different ways about that message. Um, and probably, and definitely, I would say the majority, and I say the vast majority, will have a strong, um, fairly strong at best, at least, opinion about whether or not to go to that store or not, um, based on um, the strong emotion or whatever that has been invoked by the sign. Um, so that's like, to me, like if you're gonna advertise it, that is effectively that is her advertisement. That's her marketing, which number one has nothing to do with what she's selling in there. Which I said, like I don't really know what she has in there, but from the outside and from the I think there's another, and that's part of the problem. There's a smaller sign, or at least less obvious, kind of further back from the road that has like some pictures or something about clothing on there. Um, but so effectively, like her best marketing, her best advertising is I hate so and so, which like if you want to market that, if your goal is actually to serve people, like in her case, if she's trying to serve people in the area of like providing clothes, looking good, being the best, I don't know, being the snazziest. I don't know if people use that word, but I just did. Uh, if that's what her goal is, then um, it's not a really good way to advertise. It's not a really good way to market. In other words, that does not draw people in. At least not for it definitely doesn't draw them in for, hey, let me see what clothes I can look at. Or what clothes I can look good at. So, and the other part of that too is I've noticed, like I said, I drive by there. I pretty much used to live over there, but I drove by there every day, um, pretty much every day. So, and I have never seen anybody walking there. Um, so I don't know, maybe I've seen maybe one car or so in the parking lot. Um, maybe, but then it's like maybe it was hers. Um, and so like maybe it was one or two cars in the parking lot. And don't get me wrong, like um, I don't know what all goes on in that business, but um, the point is, if that's what like, we want to put out in terms of like the way that we interact with our clients, the way we interact with um, even our the people we work with, our employees, our contractors, like there's there's no benefit to doing that. Not only is there no benefit, like it'll hurt you. It's kind of the point. Um, so I wanted to talk. I want to go into a little bit different vein of like this polarization topic. Like obviously, politics is the big deal right now. Lots of lots of like areas for people to rah 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 be offended. Um, and I don't know that it's a good idea to get involved too much in that. Um, in most arenas, but like I said, definitely not in other words, unless it's attached to what you're serving. Um, unless it's attached to what you're serving, unless it's directly attached to what you're serving, then I don't think it's a good idea. In fact, so I think the principle of this whole thing kind of comes out in this. I have a friend of mine. He's an editor, um, um, video editor, and he was talking about how he's had to edit shows um, at times where there was stuff that they were talking about that he didn't agree with, um, and that got me thinking um, back um, about how like it's true for all of us. Like anytime that we're going to provide some value to somebody, to provide a service to somebody, like there's going to be something in it that we don't agree with. It could be something that we don't agree with in terms of like their decision when um like from a professional perspective. It could be something that we don't agree with from a personal perspective. Um, like, and I'm telling you, like, if you don't believe me, like, if you stay in business long enough, like, you will run into times where, yeah, like, there will be personal differences that you have with clients, with definitely with employees. Um, that, yeah, you just have to like, yeah, that you have to deal with, as in they'll come up. And the thing is kind of recentering. It's like the episode, the last episode, um, effectively coming back to focusing. Those are opportunities, invitations, reminders to focus on what is it that I am actually trying to provide here. Um, like if you're trying to provide advice as a service, then package it and sell it. Do it well. Um, if you're, but if you're like trying to provide some other goods and services, then make sure that advice as a service or uh, disciplining other people or correcting other people isn't like a part of what you're, yeah, a part of what you're providing. In other words, we have what we offer, the service, the goods, the thing that we offer to advertise. Unfortunately, Sally's Case. She offers she advertises um, political dissension and polarization right on the front door. So, but hopefully we don't do that. But yeah, for those of us who do like put ourselves out there and sell and market, like we advertise and we promote like the goods and services that we offer. Um, but on the back end, in other words, after we've made the sale and it's time to provide the service to do the work, like we want to provide what we promised, and not really much more. And I say not much more as in like we don't want to provide anything more that would take away from like their experience. Um, in other words, if it's yeah, we want to provide anything more than what take away from their experience. Um, yeah, if it's unproductive, um, then we're probably better off keeping it. And like I said, and even so, there is the possibility of hey, you have this business, you're in this business, you like to do what you do, you run the business, and at the same time you kind of have this passion for something else. Um, like at the end of the day, like it's not bad to have like a side gig, a side kind of passion project that you kind of just go do stuff. Um, like there's no yeah, but effectively it's effectively it's not necessarily keeping things. It's not about yeah, it's not about compartmentalizing, but it is about how we advertise, which is to me what we say about ourselves to the people that like we serve. That is our promise. What we promise them about what we're going to deliver, and then being consistent in terms of like from what we promise to on the end what we deliver, having that be a consistent line all the way through. Um, that's to me what this is about. Um, so that's all I got for today. This has been a good one. I like these things, um, like these topics, and I think yeah, I think they're kind of helpful. Hope they're helpful. Anyway, if they are helpful to you, definitely feel free to reach out, put some notes in the comments, um, and yeah, we will be back on the next one. Take care. God bless.